Welcome to video 3, which is all about identity. A big part of mastering your world is mastering the way you think about yourself. And to do that, you have to know the truth about who you really are. So in this session, we'll be exploring a way of thinking about yourself that will support you in creating your very best life. First off, we're going to define what is meant by living authentically. Then we'll make a differentiation between the two versions of the self that you carry around with you, the conditioned self versus the unconditioned self. I'll explain the key to tapping into your innate wisdom and well-being, and how by mentally connecting to the universe, you can stay aligned to your most powerful, authentic state of being. There's also a guided meditation called Connecting to the Universe to accompany this video, which you can download and use as a supporting resource on your journey. Now, one of the fundamental aims of the 4 zones of transformation is to help you live as authentically as possible. Numerous studies in the field of positive psychology have shown that a major causal factor in you being genuinely and consistently happy in your life is your willingness and ability to just be your natural, authentic self. So a key principle that we'll be operating from here is that life satisfaction comes from you being the fullest, most positive expression of who you really are. Now, I know that can seem easier said than done. After all, we live in a society that values perfection, and you only have to look at the glossy magazines to know that that's true. And the sad consequence of this is that many of us walk around with the secret insecurity that we don't quite measure up. So we learn to put on a false exterior in an attempt to make us appear more acceptable to others, and even to ourselves, and that can be draining. True happiness and fulfillment can only come from authenticity, which of course has to start with taking off the mask to reveal the more beautiful you that has been hiding underneath. From now on, it's your job to stop trying to invent a shinier, glossier version of you and to simply remember who you really are. Now, an effective, if not a little crude, means of remembering who you are is to think about this metaphor of diamonds, horse crap, and nail polish. Each and every one of us is born into this world as a little bundle of pure perfection. When we look at a baby, we see that it's brimming with potential and that its spirit is innocent and flawless, just like a precious diamond. As babies, we're masters at hanging out in blissful well-being. We're just so present, happy where we are. We don't need therapy, we just need nurture. But as we grow up, we learn that there are rules to follow if we want to continue receiving the love and acceptance that we depend on. We get berated for doing things wrong. We get criticised. We start comparing ourselves to others. We experience failure and we take it personally. Over time, it's like the precious diamond that gets covered in a load of horse crap. And what's more, we get so used to the horse crap being there that we even forget that there's a diamond underneath. Now, of course, no one wants to present themselves to the world as a pile of dung, so to disguise our flaws and unworthiness, we give ourselves a good old coat of nail polish that we call our shiny persona. As long as we do a good job at reapplying new coats and filling in any cracks where necessary, that should prevent other people from noticing that we're not quite as perfect as we seem. But of course, it takes a lot of effort to keep up this pretense, and at the end of it, you can be left feeling unsatisfied, that there's something missing, which of course there is, it's you. But right now, as we speak, underneath the nail polish and the horse crap, there's still a diamond, as perfect and as precious as the day you were born, and that is who you really are. To put it more usefully, I'd like you to recognise that you carry around 2 selves with you at all times. One will feel very familiar, and the other you may not have noticed for a while, or may even have forgotten about altogether. One of the selves is what we call the conditioned self. This is the part of you that has learned how to be in the world. It's the part of you that could explain what kind of a person you are. It's been conditioned to accept some rules on what is good and bad, right or wrong, just or unjust. Other names for the conditioned self are the learned self, or the ego, or the self-concept. Now the other self is what we call the unconditioned self. This is the you that you were born with and that hasn't changed in the slightest since the day you were born. It's the essence of your well-being. It's the you that would still exist even if you stripped away every label you associate with yourself, such as your name, your job, your status, your gender. It's the you beyond your ego. And other names for the unconditioned self are the essential self, your true nature, or what Buddhists would call your original face. And this is the part of you that I'd like you to reacquaint yourself with. Let me explain some of the key differences here, and then you decide which one that you'd prefer to hang out with more. The ego is vulnerable and easily bruised, whereas your true nature remains perfect and untouchable. The ego exists in separation and isolation from everything else, but your essential self is always connected to the greater whole. The conditioned self relies on intellect to get by, but the real you is guided by innate wisdom. The learned self is always pursuing with the intention of becoming. The original you is only interested in being. The ego expects life to be a struggle. The unconditioned self is a master of ease. And the conditioned self is sustained by an energy of fear, but your true nature is love. Spending time remembering your true nature is so important because it's your true nature that connects you to the greatest support system known to man, and that's the universe itself. Everything that's ever been created, including you and I, was created by the perfect dynamic intelligence of the universe, and when we feel that sense of connection with it, we return to our most natural state of well-being. Also, with this connection comes an increased sense of clarity about life. When we're aligned with the natural energy of the universe, we seem more able to make important decisions that are based on what we would regard as wisdom. So what's the real difference between intellect and wisdom? Well, intellect is good for solving logical problems, such as assembling flat-packed furniture or working out the quickest route across town. But when it comes to answering the big questions, such as, what should I do with my life? Or how can I experience more happiness? Then your intellectual mind becomes a lot less useful. And that's because getting to live your very best life is not so much a problem that needs to be solved, but rather a state of being that needs to be aligned to. And that requires wisdom. Listening to and trusting your inner wisdom takes a little practice because it doesn't always communicate with you in ways that your intellectual mind can understand. The truth is, wisdom is more of a feeling. Your wisdom guides you by giving you subtle urges to take action in a particular direction. And you may not always understand why, but there is always a good reason for it. And following your wisdom, or trusting your gut, is the most reliable route to living a life that just feels right for you. Listening out for wisdom can sometimes be like trying to hear a tiny flute over the din of a big brass band. And that's why it's so helpful to take plenty of opportunity to stop, relax, quiet that brass band down and tune into your senses. So your exercise for this session is to hang out with your true nature by downloading and listening to the Connecting to the Universe guided meditation that you can find below this video. I encourage you to listen to this meditation at least once a day over the next week and then as often as you need. But please do be sure to read the guidelines below so that you can maximize the enjoyment and benefit from the experience. Coming up next, in the final video of Zone 1, Your World, we're going to delve into the wonderful world of beliefs and get you setting your stage for success. So I'll see you there.